Rene survived the Battle of Britain and many other adventures, but almost inevitably his time came on the 27th of August 1943. His death, shortly after this photograph was taken, was shrouded in confusion and mystery for several years, something that would have unexpected consequences for me as my journey unfolded. Paris was Rene's hometown. I wanted to know more about his life before the war and to see if any of his relatives had survived. So I decided to visit the places where he grew up and the streets he walked. Rene came from a well-to-do family. He was born here almost a century ago in the summer of 1914. The Mouchottes ran a successful distillery business, and Rene grew up in this grand Parisian villa. Today it's an apartment building with no trace of his family here anymore. So my only option was to leave a note at the Mouchotte tomb at the Père Lachaise cemetery in the hope that someone with a connection to Rene would find it. Incredibly, 4 months later the note was found by Rene's sister, Jacqueline, who instructed her son-in-law, Hubert Delisle, to contact me.
Well, my mother-in-law found the letter in late October, beginning of November, when she naturally every year went to put flowers on the tomb. Mm-hmm. And she called me and she said, there's this letter, it's in French and English. Somebody wants to make a recording, photographs on the life of Rene Mouchotte. Mm-hmm. And she was slightly reticent at first.
I don't blame
until
her.
I discovered it was you, Jan Leeming, on your email, managed to contact you, and then that was it.
Jacqueline agreed to see me, and we met on her 101st birthday. We looked at photos of her with Rene when they were children, and the news footage of her brother from the war, footage she'd never seen before. She had fond memories of him as a boy who was always kind and smiling.
Toujours de très bons souvenirs. C'est un garçon qui était toujours aimable, toujours souriant, très gai.
With tears in her eyes, she said it was wonderful to see her brother as she remembered him 70 years ago when he set off for war. Although Rene is remembered and honoured in France, I was astonished to discover that the Mouchotte family had never received his Battle of Britain medals. I decided to find out why, and my search took me north to Belgium and the stretch of coast where Rene died. On the 3rd of September 1943, a body in RAF uniform was found on the beach here at Westender. The man had been dead for a week. He'd been shot down somewhere over the English Channel, returning from a raid over the Pas de Calais. According to the documentation recovered from the body, his name was René Martin, and he was a French Canadian. And this is where the body was laid to rest, in the Field of Honour at Middelkerk Cemetery, in grave number 87. But the body had fake identification. It was, in fact, René Mouchotte. He carried fake ID because he was a Free French pilot. The wartime Vichy government had given orders to execute anyone from France who'd chosen to fight against the Nazis. So, to protect himself and his family in France, René kept the fake ID of a French Canadian.